welcome back to Today at Wrestling Christmas. My name's James Trupany. I hope you were enjoying this series. We are trying to give you a smorgasbord of wrestling activity you can download or look at for free or pay a minimal amount for to get your wrestling kicking over the Christmas period. Today we are looking at Sendai Girls' Mika Iwata debut 10th anniversary Kick Thunderclaw marks. I have a hard time believing that Mika Iwata has been a professional wrestler for 10 years because I remember her in her old persona of wearing a nice white dress and being a lovely little girl who was a professional wrestler 10 years ago when she was, in her, I guess she was a teenager back then, maybe in early 20s. How old is she now? She's 29. Yeah, she'd been 19 and she turned up and she just kicked the hell out of people. And is essentially the white dress has gone away. She's in kick pads and tights, and she's this monster wrestler today. And she's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. She's fantastic, and she kind of really embodies that Sendai Girls kind of spirit. If Chihiro Hashimoto is the face of Sendai Girls, then Mika Iwata is the heart of Sendai Girls, and her 10th anniversary is a fun watch. It opens, well, let's figure out where we are. We're at Nishisetsu Hall in Fukuoka, Japan. Iwata is from Fukuoka, so it makes sense to have her 10th anniversary show in her home prefecture. She opened with Yuri Suzuki wrestling Yuna, who is your current Sendai Girls World's Junior Champion. This was interesting. Love Yuri Suzuki. We know her a lot from GLEAT. She wrestles out of Alama Libre. She's kind of got this shoot style going on. She's 19 years old, and of course she's been wrestling for 5 years. Because of course she has. She started as a pro when she was 14 years old. And she wrestles like she's a 5-year pro. She's very accomplished. She's wrestled some big names. And Yuna is also pretty accomplished too. She has been wrestling for 2 years, has an awful lot of presence, and has an awful lot of what's the word I'm looking for? She's really good. But obviously this sets up Suzuki to be a contender for Yuna's junior championship singles match and a taking pinfall victory. Interestingly, this was only a 10-minute match. It's a championship match. Well, it wasn't a championship level match because there was a champion in it. That only lasted for 10 minutes. There was only a 10-minute match. Similarly, the next match was only a 15-minute match. But that was a tag team match. But let's look at this one first. This was really fun, and it is limited offense for younger wrestlers, but Yuri Suzuki is kind of a bit more accomplished and a bit more well-rounded, even though she is younger than Yuna. And as a result of that, she does look like a star already. And I'm really looking forward to what she comes up with in 2026. Possibly a championship run if she can beat Yuna. The former junior champion, Chi-Chi, was in a tag team match next. She was tagging with Veni. This one 8 minutes and 23 seconds against Minami and Hiroyo Matsumoto. Matsumoto is the current seed lining world champion. Matsumoto has a reputation of being a bit much personality-wise. So tagging with Minami, who is even more of a bit much than Matsumoto is hilarious. Minami is just so earnest and so honest in her just pure enjoyment of everything. And it's really difficult to describe how Minami works. You have to go see her because she just shouts all the time and she's just happy to be there. But then a serious face comes on, but she's still just very, very loud. Chi-Chi describes herself kind of as a wrestling Barbie. She's currently wearing a face mask. I'm wondering if that's to protect her from injury or from previous injuries or re-injury again in the same spot. So her natural partner is Veni, who's a very feminine professional wrestler and also one of the top aerial wrestlers I've ever seen. So this was a fun tag match between 4 higher level pro wrestlers, but again, interestingly, only set for 15 minutes. We're going to have a tight show. Was the basic level observations from this match, and it rocked along nicely. Chi-Chi is, like we said, she wrestles. She looks like she's blonde haired. She's wrestles in all pink, but then you get going, and she's very much a mat wrestler. So she doesn't wrestle as she looks, and that's really interesting to me because at one point she kind of like pulls Minoru Suzuki and gets a head scissors on over the top rope. She's got all sorts of tricks in her bag which do not give the same level of intensity to what's going on in this. And yeah, it's fun. This is a fun tag team match. As was the next tag team match, because it involved Bob Momo Banana, which is obviously Mio Momono and Yuruki Oka. Oka and Momono are not young girls. They've been wrestling quite a while now. Obviously, they're the one that have been getting so many wins. Oka has been wrestling for 6 years. She's 22. Momono has been wrestling for, because I'm waiting for cage match to catch up. She's been wrestling for 9 years. She's 27. But she learnt to wrestle in Marvelous, and Oka learned to wrestle in Sendai Girls. So you have this incredible mixed match of Chigusa Nagayo, Meiko Satomura's styles, and two wonderfully happy-go-lucky girl next doors who are really vicious. It's a whole bunch of things that go off in this match. Minami and Kenny's 25 years old. She's a freelancer. She has been wrestling for 3 years. She's a fairly kind of new wrestler. She's 25 now. And she was tagging with Raideen Haganani, who's a veteran. She's 34. She's one of Pure J's long-term wrestlers. Came out with a judo background. Been wrestling for 13 years. And this all started with Oka going and checking out her Hagani's mohawk, because she has quite the mohawk. It's quite impressive. Other than that, this was kind of a fun little back and forth match. Very much a showcase for Momono and Oka, and Kane is the one that got pinned, as you'd expect, being the youngest of these four. It was fun. It was nice. Then things start to get a little bit more serious. Now, Spike Nishimura has been the subject of talk lately because she won the PG Pulse. No, that wasn't it. She got to the final of the recent tournament in Sendai Girls. Can't remember what it is. There was a tournament to be discussed on a previous show, and she kind of has a lot of going for her at the moment. And we're kind of big fans of her at Trooping Show. And she's going up against Dash Chisako, the established ace of the company, current booker, kind of the person that took over the matriarchal figure of Sendai Girls with the retirement Meiko Satomura. And this was very much similar to yesterday's match with Natsupoi and Sayori Ano. Kind of not Sayori Ano, with Sari, I'll get it right. Kind of one of those establishment beatings. Spike wasn't beaten up in this match. In fact, she had long stretches of dominance, but Dash was certainly the dominant wrestler and I'd take it out, work it out the pin. So it was kind of one of those things that gives younger wrestlers character because she's losing in a positive way. And that was a lot of fun to watch. Spike's awesome. She's got incredible facial expressions and awareness, and her selling is very, very good, which has to be in this particular environment, especially when she's the bigger wrestler going up against a smaller woman. She's got a lot of ring presence. She is very much a Sendai girl, and I really appreciate watching her wrestle. The semi-main event was a Sendai Girls World Tag Team Championship match. Chihiro Hashimoto and Yu were defending against FWC, Hazuki and Koguma from Stardom. 19 minutes and 17 seconds. So we've seen a lot of Stardom people on this show in the last 2 days, because obviously we did Stardom's big show yesterday. Koguma and Hazuki are kind of opposites attract tag team, in the sense that Koguma is kind of a straight up power wrestler, and Hazuki is kind of more a pretty girl wrestler. There's a lot of aerial things, and that's an interesting mix. But they're going up against Team 200 kg, which is Hashimoto and Yu, who are very much drawn together by their size. They've been the dominant tag team in Sendai Girls since their inception. Obviously, Yu is on her way to retirement. In fact, may have retired now, because this was taped some time ago. This show came on the 22nd of November. So yeah, this is the end, towards the end of Yu's run, and maybe one of her last title match defenses. But this was a lot of fun. We kind of got the standard FWC and Team 200 kg spots in the opening couple of minutes, and then it went back to being kind of like a proper World Tag Team title match. That was the thing for me. It was like, we have some shtick we have to get through. We're going to get it out of the way, and then we're going to get going. And there was some ludicrous spots in this match. Kaguma being on the receiving end of a splash from Hashimoto, and you at the same time, because Hashimoto stood on the floor, you stood on the middle rope, and then they splashed Kaguma, who was on the floor. That was mad. There was some other stuff that was pretty stiff in this match as well. Hazuki and Kaguma were very happy to be wrestling Yu and Hashimoto. They were clearly having a lot of fun and maybe getting away with a few things they wouldn't get away with in Stardom. So this was really, really cool. 8.3 from the cage match users, and I don't disagree with them. A lot of fun. Takes a little while to get going, but once you're in there, you're in there. And yeah, that was fantastic. Main event time. Mika Iwata and Mayu Takase defeated Ryu Mizunami and Seiyu Anu. 18 minutes and 19 seconds. This was fantastic. This was really, really good. Obviously, it's Iwata's 10th anniversary. She picks her tag team partner, Mayuki Takase. They're known as Red Energy together. They've been together for a while now. Mizunami is a former Sendai girl. She's a freelancer. We've seen her an awful lot in the last couple of years. She is a fairly high-end freelancer these days. She isn't really associated with anyone specifically. She was trained by Meiko Satomura. She was one of the first Sendai girls to really break out of Sendai. Her probably most notable match that you've seen her in was the tournament final of the Japanese women's tournament in AEW. And Sayori Anu, you know, because we talked about her yesterday. She was in the main event yesterday on the Stardom show for Christmas. And this was like a real kind of interesting detail about her in the sense of this is kind of, she's as one what he put in a cage match bio of her, she's a real plug and play wrestler. Any situation she's in, she's going to shine. And this was a really good example of that. Mizunami is a dominant character in any particular wrestling match you stick her in because she's just so loud. And Anu isn't loud, but her actions speak much, much louder than her words. And then you got Iwata and Takase, and Iwata's going to kick you, and she's going to kick you really hard. She's going to come in and kick you some more. It's all about strikes with her. Takase is a bit more of a mat wrestler, and they're nicely blended together. And this was so much fun to watch. And it was so much fun to see Iwata, who absolutely was not going to lose in this match. She was making sure of that. This was so much fun to see and so much fun to enjoy. So I strongly recommend this card. There's not a lot to it other than that. Doesn't really set up matches for the future. Doesn't really do anything for the past. Just a fun professional wrestling card that you should thoroughly enjoy. And that's pretty much it for today at Sendai Girls, Mika Iwata's 10th Anniversary Show. You can find me at Sheriff Lone Star on Twitter and on Blue Sky and on Mastodon and PixelFed. You can find the show Troopany Show on Blue Sky, Twitter and on Instagram. Take care, and we'll be back tomorrow with another Wrestling Christmas. Bye!